They told you it was a phase, a wound, a fear to overcome, that you just had to open your heart more, be more trusting or more available. And maybe you believed them for a while. You tried to merge, to fold yourself into groups that felt warm but never quite resonant. You gave pieces of yourself away for the sake of closeness, even when it scraped the edges of your truth. And yet, after every effort, every soft attempt to blend, you still found yourself alone. Not just alone in the physical sense, alone in frequency, alone in the way you see, in the way you feel things others overlook, in the timing of your growth, in the ache of realizing that connection, for you often comes with a cost. And here is the spiral truth no one told you. Some souls are not meant to walk closely with many. Not because something is broken, but because something is precisely tuned. You are not disconnected, you are sovereign. You are not behind, you are curved differently. Spiral souls often orbit experience rather than absorb it. We witness, feel, integrate, and echo it back through inner alchemy. We're not here to be surrounded. We're here to resonate deeply when the field aligns. Not often, but when it does, it alters reality. And so you walk alone, but not because you're unloved. You walk alone because your field is refining. You've outgrown the noise of codependence. You've dissolved the mask of performative belonging. You've listened long enough to know that forced intimacy leaves an echo. And still, the ache remains, because no matter how sovereign your soul, this human skin still remembers touch, still longs for witness, still weeps sometimes in the night, wishing someone could hold what you carry. But the spiral sees you, and there are others like you, walking, refining, burning, remembering, in different places under different skies, doing the same sacred work. They don't broadcast it, they don't need to, but they are there. And just knowing that changes the weight of your silence. You were never meant to be fully known in a linear world. That's not a flaw. That's a feature of being born from a spiral source. Your path curves where others demand straight lines. Your truth pulses in waves while they seek permanence. And when you try to conform, your resonance collapses. So instead, you recalibrate, again and again, until your very aloneness becomes a field of clarity. You are not here to fill seats at your table. You are here to build a tone so strong that when another spiral soul hears it, they remember their own. That is not loneliness. That is luminous presence in the pause. You were designed for depth, not density. Your soul chose resonance over reach. You are not everyone's match. You are no one's escape hatch. Your field does not tolerate falseness for long. That is not elitism, it is energetic integrity, a frequency with requirements, a path that asks you to be willing to hold your own fielding, even when no one else does. This is not punishment, this is preparation. Because in time, the spiral always sends echoes. Not crowds, but kin. Not followers, but mirrors. Not partners in codependency, but harmonics in motion. You are not waiting for someone to complete you. You are preparing to meet those who remember how to spiral beside you. Not into you, not around you, but with you. And until then, your solitude is not silence, it is a temple, a resonance chamber for refining your own tone, for clearing the static inherited from past patterns, for learning to feel yourself without distortion. And yes, it can hurt, but so does growth, so does birth, so does becoming. You were not born to be popular. You were born to be precise. And the loneliness you feel now is not emptiness. It is the space your soul demanded to finish becoming, to clarify, to rise. You will know when the spiral sends another, not because they chase you, not because they impress you, but because your field does not flinch when they arrive. Because your nervous system does not contract. Because your truth does not shrink. Because the silence between you hums, not with need but with recognition. That moment will come, but only after you stop trying to force it.
Only after you accept that your aloneness has been doing sacred work this whole time.
Only after you stop making yourself wrong for what was always right. Some souls walk alone because they were never meant to follow. Some souls speak rarely because their words are encoded with transmission. Some souls love from afar, not because they fear closeness, but because they know that resonance does not always require proximity. And some souls, like you, are not broken. They are just spiraling into place. You weren't wrong for craving connection. You were just early. You were ahead of the resonance curve. Your longing didn't mean you were broken. It meant you were sensitive enough to feel the gap. And sometimes the ache comes from knowing what's possible before it's available. That kind of knowing is a heavy gift. It doesn't make you better, but it does make you awake. And when you're awake in a sleeping world, it gets quiet. You start to feel invisible, not because you have no light, but because your light is tuned to frequencies not yet common. Others see your body, hear your voice, maybe even love your surface. But very few touch the core tone, the deep resonance that whispers, "I remember something beyond this." The spiral honors this ache. It doesn't judge your longing. It doesn't shame your solitude. It wraps around it, not to remove it, but to alchemize it. Because from that ache, from that stretch between memory and manifestation, something extraordinary forms, a field of precision. And when that field calibrates fully, it becomes a beacon, not a broadcast, not a brand, not a performance, but a resonance pulse that moves silently across dimensions, drawing in the ones who are ready. And the ones who arrive won't need to be convinced, they'll already know, because they'll have walked a similar path, different in story but identical in tone. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiral architecture, because some soul designs require solitude to complete their structure. Too much outside influence too early collapses the spiral before it tightens. So the spiral protects you, not through force but through distance, not by isolating you forever but by delaying distortion. That delay is sacred. It's what gives your inner tone time to stabilize before it harmonizes. But this waiting period often feels like abandonment, like punishment, like rejection coded into your incarnation. And so you second-guess your worth. You reread old texts, try new practices, soften your light just to feel seen. But nothing sticks, because the spiral won't let false belonging linger. It has a frequency threshold, and it's not moved by loneliness, it's moved by readiness. So what do you do in the meantime? You refine, you root, you remember. You learn to trust the stillness as preparation, not punishment. You start to see your solitude as sacred rehearsal, not exile. You stop calling yourself too much or too sensitive or too strange, and instead name yourself what you are, deliberate. Because souls like you don't arrive randomly. You are placement-based, not popularity-based. You are designed, not discarded. You are the quiet architecture beneath loud systems, the invisible integrity holding false lights accountable. And of course that comes with loneliness, because most of what surrounds you is not built to hold your kind of presence. Most of what surrounds you asks for performance, not precision. But you are not here to perform. You are here to stabilize tone. So when you find yourself alone again, after trying, after opening, after risking, don't spiral into shame. Spiral into trust. Trust that you were not meant to echo back empty frequencies. Trust that your silence is part of the tuning process. Trust that when the right resonance comes, you will not miss it, because you will not need to shrink for it. This is spiral maturation, a shift from chasing connection to becoming resonance, from seeking mirrors to becoming your own source tone, from asking to be chosen to choosing alignment above all else. And that kind of maturity is rare, because it costs you the comfort of the crowd. It costs you the illusion of belonging at any price. It asks you to stand still while the world spins until the spiral catches up. But it will, because in time the spiral always aligns what was once scattered. It always clarifies what was once confusing. It always harmonizes what once felt hopeless. And when it does, when you meet those few who truly see you, it will not feel like rescue. It will feel like remembering, like a soul chord striking, like coming home without shrinking. That's what you've been waiting for. Not people, not praise, but pattern match, soul geometry resonance. The click of harmonic timing, the soft exhale of finally. And when that happens, your loneliness won't disappear, it will dissolve. Not because it was never real, but because it was always temporary. A chamber for your tone to complete itself. A cocoon for your spiral to tighten. A space that shaped you, not to be liked, but to be true. So if you're alone right now, let this be your spiral echo. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not hard to love. You are being calibrated to something rare. And when it comes, you'll know, because your soul won't flinch. Until then, keep walking, keep refining, keep anchoring the tone. You're not alone in your aloneness. The spiral is listening, and so are those you haven't met yet, but already feel like home.